Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Tubi. And with that, let's get to the list. The Cleansing Hour is a 2019 supernatural horror movie. Directed by Damien Levesque, it stars Kyle Gallner, Ryan Guzman, and Alex Angelis. The story's about two entrepreneurs who stage elaborate fake exorcisms until one of their girlfriends becomes possessed by a demon.
And cut. Nice job, everybody. Good show.
So with all the buzz last year for Late Night with the Devil, I couldn't help myself but keep thinking about this movie. But don't get me wrong, they're not exactly the same. This one isn't a period piece, things like that. But there are definitely elements that are very similar. And just the overall tone of this movie, it's like one of those where it gets creepy, it gets spooky and all that, but you're always having a good time with it. It's never so dark and so disturbing that it loses the fun factor. But this is one that's really flown under the radar. Just like every movie on this list, these are all movies that I feel like have never gotten any of the attention that they deserved. They're all indie movies, and most of them were over on Shudder, and recently Tubi added a bunch of those. And so as soon as I saw those, I was like, all right, I gotta make another Tubi list right away and let you guys know about these, because I know that I'm sure a lot of you, especially the hardcore horror fans out there, have probably heard of or seen a lot of these, but I know for a fact the masses never have. And so the fact that they're now on Tubi for free and anybody and everybody can give them a chance, I had to bring attention to that. Besides that, I am a big fan of Kyle Gallner, and so anything he's in, I get stoked on because he just does a great job of playing any role that he's given. And he isn't the lead in this, but he definitely has a significant role. Either way, this movie is so entertaining. And if you have yet to see it, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Technology, the Veggie Masher turns your vegetables into a tasty, mouth-watering paste.
VHS 94 is a found footage anthology horror movie with segments directed by Simon Barrett, Timo Tangento, Jennifer Reeder, and Chloe Okuno. A police SWAT team investigates a mysterious VHS tape and discovers a sinister cult that has pre-recorded material which uncovers a nightmarish conspiracy. There is definitely a soft spot for me when it comes to this VHS. For one, 1994 is kind of my late teen years and kind of a magical moment in time for me. Like, I have such vivid memories of the music, the culture, the way people dressed, just the overall vibe of this era. And so I was really excited as soon as I heard they were doing a VHS with this year in mind. And like all the VHSs, they do a really good job of not only making the culture and all that appear the way it did and make it real feeling, but they really lean into making the film quality itself feel like actual VHS tapes and like it was recorded with the devices and things that would have been available at the time. But there are so many fun, amazing, entertaining segments in this, nightmarish segments, but also funny, creepy. I mean, you name it, one of the segments in this pretty much covers it. And I am pretty much entertained by all of the VHSs. There's been a few that are less than some of the other ones. And just like each one, there'll be a couple segments that are definitely stronger than the others. But they just about always are entertaining. But this one, in my opinion, is probably the best as far as being balanced. Like, all the segments in this work. Yeah, some of them aren't necessarily home runs, but they're all good, at least on some level. So I think it's a really good time and definitely worth adding to your list.
They're not my family.
The color.
Color Out of Space is a 2019 sci-fi horror movie, directed by Richard Stanley and based on the short story of the same name by H.P. Lovecraft. It stars Nicolas Cage, Julie Richardson, and Madeline Arthur. After a meteorite lands in the front yard of his farm, a man and his family find themselves battling a mutant extraterrestrial organism.
Big flash, like a pink light. Or actually, I don't even know what color it was. It wasn't like any color I'd ever seen before.
Looks like a meteorite.
I am such a huge fan of cosmic horror, Lovecraftian horror. It's just so much fun. I wish we had more of them, but when we do get one, to me, there's nothing more entertaining, more dark and creepy while also still being a good time. And this fits right into that so nice. It's colorful, it's exciting, it's weird, it's gross, very creepy, but like I said, still entertaining and enjoyable. Because this gets dark, it gets disturbing and all of that, but yet there's still an entertaining value to it. So it's not like it's depressing, but it does really scratch that cosmic horror itch. Just the different things that it deals with, the directions that it takes, the way things look. It's just awesome to see. Besides that, this is one of those performances from Nicolas Cage where he doesn't really quite go over the top on the level that you see him do in a lot of the different things that he does. I mean, he does get a few moments, but for the most part, he plays a pretty grounded character, this dad that's just going through absolute hell. I think this movie is a real gem that's absolutely worth your time. Caveat is a 2020 Irish horror movie, written, directed, and edited by Damien McCarthy. It stars Jonathan French, Leela Sykes, and Ben Kaplan. A lone drifter suffering from partial memory loss accepts a job to look after a psychologically troubled woman in an abandoned house on an isolated island. So last year, the movie Oddity came out of nowhere. It caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but at least in my case, I knew about Damien McCarthy. I knew about this movie, and I was looking forward to seeing what he had next. But the reaction I saw from the rest of the horror community really made me happy because, for one, this movie Caveat is great. It's so good. It's so disturbing and creepy. And in some ways, it's more off-putting and just weird than even Oddity was. But just in general, to see Damien McCarthy getting noticed and recognized, and like I said, Oddity being considered one of the best movies from last year, it just really warmed my twisted little horror heart. But even though a lot of people checked out Oddity, this movie Caveat is still pretty much unknown. It is very much a hidden gem kind of horror movie. And part of that was, like I was saying with some of these others, it was over on Shudder. And yes, the diehard horror community does go there, but the people that don't subscribe to Shudder just didn't know about this movie at all. And so now that it's on Tubi, that makes me so excited. I'm hoping that more people check out that, not just from me talking about it, but from it just being on the platform in general, because it's bizarre and creative and really creepy, moody, atmospheric. And I think for the right audience, it'll get under your skin, it'll mess with you, and just stick with you after you're done watching it. So if you enjoy indie psychological horror movies, this is one to definitely add to your list.
Trick or treat.
Anything for Jackson is a 2020 Canadian horror movie, directed by Justin G. Dyke and written by Keith Cooper. It stars Sheila McCarthy, Julian Richings, and Constantina Montelos. The story is about a couple who hatch a supernatural scheme to resurrect their dead grandson through abducting a pregnant woman.
We don't want to hurt you or your baby. We feel this would be the best way for you to go missing.
This is the absolute definition of hidden gem. It is a movie I've been raving about for years now. And I've never had anybody tell me that I've recommended it to that they didn't enjoy it. It is so well done. It's well written. It's well shot. The cast is fantastic. It is a very small movie that mostly takes place in one location, but it's the cast and the little weird, moody, atmospheric, creepy things that this movie does that just get under your skin and really fuck you up. I mean, there's a couple scenes in this that are just straight up nightmare fuel. But I'm also a fan of Julian Richings. I loved him as Death on the TV series Supernatural. He was just so fun in that character. But he is iconic and fun and creative in everything that he's in, and he's just great in this. But so is Sheila McCarthy. Just the two of them make this great little old couple, and yet they seem so sweet and all that, but they're also dealing with some really creepy, twisted, disturbing stuff at the same time. And there's definitely a lightheartedness into some of it, but as it goes, and especially by the end, it gets more and more dark and twisted, much more than you'll expect it to be. So I just love this movie, and it's one that I highly, highly recommend. Vicious Fun is a 2020 Canadian comedy horror movie. Directed by Cody Callahan, it stars Evan Marsh, Ari Millen, and Julian Richings. A horror film critic finds himself in a sticky situation when he stumbles into a self-help group for serial killers.
How do you maintain your lifestyle and keep your urges under control?
I murdered the same victim repeatedly.
Have you ever bitten into a kidney?
What is this, some kind of support group for serial killers?
Why are you here?
It's complicated.
What a colorful, just fun, zany, over-the-top movie this is. It is a real blast. It gets gory, it gets violent, but it's very funny at the same time. Just all these creative characters. Each one of the killers has like their own look and style to them and the way they kill, and they get their own moment in the sun in it, and it makes for an entertaining movie. And it really makes for an entertaining movie. And once again, this one has Julian Richings, and it's a totally different character than what he plays in anything for Jackson. In this one, he is this bizarre serial killer that wears clown makeup and is just batshit crazy, but a blast to watch. But just in general, this is not a movie to take too serious. It's a popcorn kind of horror movie. It gets pretty silly and over the top and is really just a movie to have fun with. But if you're in the mood for a comedy horror movie, I think this is a great pick. Satanic Hispanics is a 2022 horror anthology with segments directed by Mike Mendez, Demian Rugna, and others. It stars Efren Ramirez, Jonathan Ray, and Greg Grunberg. When police break into a house in El Paso, they find it filled with dead bodies and a lone survivor known as the Traveler. So they take him to the police station for questioning, unaware that all hell is about to break loose.
27 dead bodies, all shot in the head. And only one survivor.
I bet he's got one hell of a story to tell.
This is an awesome anthology, one of my favorites from the last number of years. It really is that good. There are segments of this in particular that are just amazing. I mean, some of them are kind of but even the ones that are still fun on some level. But one of the segments in this is directed by Demian Rugna, the guy that brought us When Evil Lurks and Terrified. And he just delivers in this, even though it's a little short segment. It's great. It's creepy. It's disturbing. It's exactly what we have come to expect from Demian Rugna. But the rest of this is great too. I mean, like I said, some sections are not quite as good as others, but there are some parts of this that I just wish they would make a full movie of. Like, they're that interesting, that entertaining, that over the top, that exciting, like just different things that each one does. But then it also has this really well done wraparound segment that actually makes sense and works with the rest of it. Because like a lot of times the wraparound is just like its own thing. It has nothing to do with what is in the middle on an anthology. But this does a good job of connecting everything together by the end. But if you're a fan of anthology horror movies and have yet to see this one, I think it's an absolute must watch. Watcher is a 2022 psychological horror movie. Written and directed by Chloe Okuno, it stars Micah Monroe, Carl Glusman, and Bern Gorman. A young American actress moves with her husband to Bucharest and begins to suspect that a stranger who watches her from an apartment window may be a serial killer. This is a great nail biter, an edge of your seat kind of movie, and it's really mysterious, very creepy. It gets heart pounding and very, very intense, especially in the final act. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of like a modern day Alfred Hitchcock type of thriller. And it's definitely one of my favorite performances from Micah Monroe. She really does a great job in this. She has a real wide range of emotions and things that she has to deal with, because not only is she dealing with this intense situation where this person is basically watching her and stalking her, or at least she believes that, but then she is also in a brand new place with nothing but strangers where she doesn't speak the language. And so that just adds this whole nother level of vulnerability. And she does a fantastic job of conveying that with even just her body language, not even dialogue. It's also a well-directed, well-shot, just beautiful movie. Chloe Okuno is really a talented filmmaker, and I just can't wait to see what she does next. But if you're in the mood for something that'll keep you gripping the edge of your seat, this is definitely one to add to your list.
I am doing my best.
Sissy is a 2022 comedy horror movie, written and directed by Hannah Barlow and Kane Sens. It stars Aisha D., Hannah Barlow, and Emily D. Margheriti. Teen best friends Cecilia and Emma, after a decade, run into each other. So Emma invites Cecilia to her bachelorette weekend, where she gets stuck in a remote cabin with her high school bully, with a taste for revenge.
You remember me, right? Yeah.
I just can't picture myself without her.
I was thinking about you the other day, and now here you are. You should come to my hens weekend.
This is definitely a horror comedy, but it's a lot more serious and a lot more dark than I thought it would be. As the movie progresses, yes, there's plenty of silliness, plenty of over-the-top things that will definitely catch you off guard and make you laugh just because you're not expecting that to happen. But it also gets pretty twisted and goes off the deep end at times and gets gory and savage too. But I love how it's shot. It's so colorful and poppy and bright. And then you juxtapose that with this grisly, gory, brutal murder stuff that happens, which makes it just really fun. But this is another one that's been criminally underrated. So if you have yet to see it and you're someone that generally likes comedy horror, slasher horror movies, this is one you definitely need to give a look.
How they work for blood.
Help! You can't take me!
They're out there.
Extraterrestrial is a 2014 Canadian sci-fi horror movie. Directed by Colin Minahan, it stars Brittany Allen, Freddie Stroma, and Milani Papala. The story is about a group of friends who must defend themselves from an alien onslaught. This movie is awesome. It is so wild, entertaining. It's all the things that make for a great little movie. It's truly just way better than it has any right to be. It looks better, better cast, story, mood, atmosphere, pacing, like all those things are just so much better than you will ever expect it to be, especially based off of a trailer or just not having heard of it or whatever. Like, this really is the definition of a hidden gem, a movie that just is incredibly under the radar, that practically nobody knows about. But it's just wild. I mean, the different things that happen, the way it looks, the directions that it goes, I mean, it's surprising all the way to the very end. There's just one thing after another. It's funny at times without being a comedy. It's action-packed, it's gory, it's gross. It is just all of the things that you want in something to just have fun with. But I just love the look of this. I love the creativity here. I really love Brittany Allen. She is one of my favorite actresses out there that doesn't ever get noticed. Nobody ever talks about her, but she's great in this as well. But I just think it is a perfect pick for this Saturday night. So do yourself a favor this weekend, pick one of the movies off of this list, grab your popcorn and your candy, and enjoy! And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. And I'll see you guys next time.